Do Black families adopt? Because it seems like mostly white folks adopt, right? I mean, when you see picture after picture of celebrity after celebrity and famous people adopting, it sure seems like adoption is a Caucasian phenomenon. Or is it? Maybe it's not. Maybe other adoptive families' stories are just not told as often as stories of white families adopting are being told on social media, on TV, or all over the news. Well, November is National Adoption Month, and I'm going to be celebrating this all month long with you guys. And I have such a special guest with me today who's going to talk about his experience with adoption. I can't wait for you guys to hear his story and be encouraged that it's not just white people who adopt. Now, before we get into it, for the best adoption advice, be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit that bell button to be notified when I post a new video every week. All right, now let's get right into it. Meet Aaron Johnson.
Hi, my name is Aaron Johnson. I'm an adoptive father. Back in 2017, my wife and I, we adopted our first son. We now have two.
So of course, I asked Aaron what he observed as a Black adoptive parent when he was going through the adoption process. And this is what he said.
When we would look at the sample profile books, the hard copies, as well as online, the vast majority of the families were white, including the families that had already adopted Black children. They were mostly white. And even in our class that we had to take pre-adoption, there were maybe 6 or 7 other families, and we were the only Black couple there.
So in the adoption process, you want to have a good match, right? Because when you go into it as an adoptive family, you usually have a pretty good idea of the type of child that you'd like to have in your home that you feel equipped to raise into adulthood. In the same way, moms who are considering adoption for their child also has an idea in their mind about, the type of family that they would like their child to grow up in. And so when you have those two come together, that's what we call a good match. Now, Aaron found out something very interesting about Black moms who were considering placing their babies for adoption, and this is what he found out.
When we were going through the process, we noticed that there was a lack in Black families adopting, and we knew that there was a need for more Black families to adopt, because often Black birth parents are requesting that the adoptive parents be Black.
So the Black mothers were requesting to be able to see profiles of adoptive families who were Black. But why is that? Right? I mean, the big question is, can any child of any race or culture grow up in any type of family as long as they're loved and cared for? Now, this is what Aaron had to say about that.
Well, I think a lot of Black biological parents would like their children with Black families because they know what it's like to be Black in this country. They can better deal with stuff from how to do Black hair all the way up to how to deal with racism. And that's not to say that, white families can't ever address stuff like that or love their children, but it's just, what stood out to us was that there was a big effort to help white families address those type of issues, but there wasn't any effort to actually recruit Black families. So why put a lot of effort into educating white adoptive parents, but not try to bring in more Black families?
That's a great question, right? Why put all this effort into educating white families on how to take care of Black children and not put the exact same amount of effort in recruiting Black families who can take care of these Black children and don't need any education about it? Comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are on this. So is that something that your agency actually told you, that they were not making a lot of recruiting efforts to bring in more Black adoptive families?
Yes, that's what they told me then. Fortunately, now it seems like they reached out to me. They're actually trying to do more. I think that's the same with other agencies, but at least back then, a few years ago, there wasn't really anything being done about it.
Do you know why that is? I mean, why there weren't any efforts towards recruiting more Black families when they knew that Black moms were actually asking for more Black adoptive families?
It's a loaded question. There's a lot of reasons I could give. I guess it depends on the agency. It might be that maybe it just didn't occur to them. It could be, and I hate to say this because I don't want to, paint every agency as a bad, agency, but it could be, racism. I've heard people mention before that someone told them that certain agencies would purposely put white families ahead of the line from black families because, I don't know, trying to keep their main, lack of a better term, customers happier. I don't know all the different reasons. I just know it just hasn't been done historically.
Yeah.
And that needs to change.
And I love how you mentioned, and I know like both of our hearts is for kids to be put in a safe family. But there is a real issue about race that really does need to be addressed. And I have a lot of friends and I know a lot of adoptive families who are Caucasian and who have done the best that they could to educate themselves and to really be the best parent they could be to their Black adoptive child. So I know like there's so many families here who they just have a heart to adopt and they really want to be parents. And they don't want race to be a barrier either, right? They don't want to say, I'm only going to adopt a child who looks like me when there's so many other kids who don't look like them who need a home. But we're just saying that, hey, like there really is a need for Black adoptive families because there are a lot of moms out there who are like, I want my baby to be with somebody who looks like them. And it's something that we need to talk about, that needs to be talked about in the adoption community.
Yeah. It is. I'm sorry. I just want to piggyback off of that. Yeah. It's really not fair to the Black birth parents because the white birth parents, they have a long line of families to choose from. Right. But Black families who want a Black couple, they just don't have that option. So that's pretty big.
So after finding out all of this information and based on his experience with adoption, Aaron decided to do something about it.
I decided to start a nonprofit where we give adoption grants specifically to Black families seeking to adopt. It started off as just providing adoption grants, which actually we're close to giving away our very first one in the amount of $5,000. We'll be announcing the winner probably next week or two. It's also kind of grown into, spreading awareness in the Black community about adoption.
Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, November is National Adoption Month. So of course, Aaron with his nonprofit is doing something very special this month that he wants to share with you guys.
Well, we're gonna start a big campaign for fundraising. As I mentioned, we're about to give out our first $5,000 grant, but we have to raise funds to do it again and again and again. So once we give out this first one, we're back to zero. So we're gonna need all the support we can get so we can continue to help more and more families. We don't want to just stop at this first one. We don't even want to do one a year. We want to do at minimum 4 a year, but I'd love to do more. And ultimately, I'd love to be able to just pay off people's total expense for adoption.
Yeah.
In addition to just giving, we'd like people to kind of share on their social media why they're giving and, use certain hashtags and tag us and all that so people can see why we're doing what we're doing. That's the one thing we're doing. I also had the privilege of meeting with some other individuals who are working in Black adoption spaces, from other Black adoptive parents to other Black adoptees. So I'm excited about that. Follow me, you'll see what's coming with that. It's very exciting.
Now, I'm sure all of you guys are asking, how can I help? How can I be a part of this? This is awesome. Who can help? Let's find out.
Anybody. You can go to our website and click the link for giving. You can donate there. Again, anybody who wants to give, we'll take the money so we can give it to some other Black adoptive families.
Now, below in the description box, I am going to link all the ways that you can contact Aaron on social media and also the ways that you can support his nonprofit in the month of November. Also, if you want to be a part of a community of families just like you who are getting support and resources that they need for their adoption journey, make sure that you click the link below to join my Facebook group community that's been growing day after day, where we're chatting about adoption, getting the resources that we need, and the support that we need to be great adoptive parents. So I highly encourage you to go ahead and click the link below and join that community, and I will see you in there. Now, if you like this video, make sure that you subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, and share with your friends. Thanks for watching. Bye.